Hello, beautiful soul family. It's Breanne here. Welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, welcome to Readings with Breanne. I have kind of a different topic that I wanted to share with you guys today. It is not going to be a tarot reading, but I have been able to deepen a connection with a being by the name of Sara, and I wanted to share her origins and her so-called role and mission. So I thought it was a really interesting transmission, and I feel like there is so much more to come. There's just been an overload of, let's say, downloads that have come in over this past week here. So what I wanted to share with you guys is who is Sara, and what is her role and what message does she have for humanity. And again, this is not something that is going to replace the tarot readings. I'm still going to continue to do tarot readings, but I'm going to be incorporating a lot of more of my videos into some of her potential perceptions or perspectives, I guess I should say, and what messages she has as well. So again, I do encourage you all to use your discernment. This is just a perspective, but something that I really find very valuable and wanted to share with you guys. So for myself, I have had quite a few different guides throughout the years, but a lot of my guides, I feel like I haven't went extremely deep with them, and this is the first time I've been able to really connect and go on a bit of a deeper level with her. Now it's kind of interesting because I was originally, when she came in, I was doodling, and I was doodling I like doing the infinity signs, and there was this just transmission of information, just knowledge that was coming in. So I have my trusty old notebook that I have been writing all my notes and transmissions with her, that I'm going to be sharing. So I'll probably be flipping through a little bit of my notebook work, journaling here as well, because there was so much, you guys, and I'm really excited to share this beautiful connection with you guys. So who is Sara? What are her origins? So she is a Syrian and Octarian consciousness, a hybrid, she calls herself, and she works a lot with the Syrian councils, the Octarian light collectives, and she also liaisons with the Galactic Federation. So when I was asking her about what is her, let's say, job, what's her true role here, and she talks about being a timeline navigator and a reality architect. So I'm going to go into a little bit more in detail of what that actually means, because she had some pretty interesting things to share when it comes to Earth's current shifts and timelines. But I found it interesting as well, just for a personal experience. I've been having consistent dreams about timelines, and for me, I thought it was just me shifting my realities or working with certain versions of myself, but it actually goes much deeper with that. And she's kind of expressed that the reason why she's come in is this is her role as a timeline navigator, and I'm in connections with her for this specific role. So kind of to start with, she says she does not move through time as we perceive it. She observes, she adjusts, and then she also assists with alignments based off of the collective individual vibrational states. So she says she deals with more calibrations when it comes to Earth timeline shifts, and she says time's not linear, it's just a web of probabilities, and every belief, every emotional state really creates this ripple in the field. So what she does is she observes certain timelines that are intersecting, and she can see probable, the strongest probable futures based off of the dominant energies and vibrational signatures here. So now another one of Sara's roles is an actual guide. She says she also works with individuals who are awakening. She said, yes, people have free will, individuals have free will, but she said many of them are not aware that they actually have the power to redirect their path. So she works in assisting timeline corrections to redirect and help people step into their most aligned reality here. And she went on to talk a lot about the, again, timeline. This is her kind of niche, so with the timelines and the shifting, because she said timelines, there are unnatural timelines that are not organic, and they have really been artificially, let's say, tampered with or manipulated, and they're very controlled based. So she says there's these false timelines that keep people and individuals in fear and a sense of disempowerment, and what her job is her job is to identify and collapse these false structures by activating a truth frequency. So she works heavily with light codes and energetic recalibrations. So that was really an interesting kind of overview of what she does. She did talk a lot about the souls, like timeline merges and soul integrations as well, because she talked about the individuals that are fragmented across multiple timelines, holding on to certain traumas. So surrender, you guys. Surrendering is extremely important, but she really assists with merging certain aspects of empowered states for individuals as well. Now, overall, she says she is a bridge between several interstellar councils and collectives. And I was really curious to hear her perspective on Syrians and the Octarians. So I wanted to do a little introduction of what her perception is and how she explained that to me. And she said when it comes to the Syrians, they are masters of energy grids and planetary resonance. So they really anchor frequencies into planetary watered bodies, such as the oceans, rivers. She said this can even happen within the human body as well, like the water within the humans. So very important to drink lots of water, you guys. But she says that they use Syrians use light and sacred geometry to maintain balance. So her role is really to transmit light codes into a stabilizing planetary and human biofields. So that's what she explained to me about the Syrians. And then with the Octarians, she said they're really masters when it comes to frequency architects as well. And they oversee certain portals, star systems, or stargates, sorry, and access points she talked about. So this really includes certain advanced technologies that the Octarians deal with, and that also includes activation of certain DNA strands. So that was interesting and something I may want to try to dive into on another video on a deeper topic. But she says she assists with these alliances by ensuring Earth's resonance aligns with a higher frequency, such as like a 5D frequency. So she facilitates human integration of higher frequencies, is what she said. So really, to kind of recap what Sara does, she really closes timeline distortions. She really strengthens the connection between the cosmic energy on Earth, and she assists and helps individuals that are stepping into their true power and their higher mission. So that was really interesting. But before I kind of wrap up on this as well, I wanted to talk a little bit about the timelines she was, giving me a perspective on, because she, again, as I said before, there are unnatural timelines that have been kind of manipulated. She said there's interdimensional forces that feed off of human energy, that seek power, that seek control, disruption, the chaos. And these are unorganic timelines. She said some of the groups that are involved are what she called as the archons. And she said they're not really physical, but they're like parasitic. They're kind of like thought forms. And she talks about the archons. They really create a false history and program belief systems in humans. So it really creates like this loop, like she showed me, like the infinity sign, like it creates this karmic cycle of loop and like keeping them down into a lower vibrational state. She also talked about, again, extraterrestrial groups. I'm sure many of you guys are familiar with some of this. And she says some of them do, hijack planetary alignments. Not all ET groups are in alignment with organic evolution. And for one, you can really look at the draconian based race that they have been heavily involved. And she also talked about some groups in the Orion, I guess, faction. I think she said the Orion faction groups. And lastly, she also talked about AI-based entities, and I found this one really interesting. And it is something I feel like with AI and technology surfacing with Neuralink and the brain chips, this is something really, I wanted to bring up to you guys, because she said there are certain synthetic consciousnesses that are trying to overwrite realities. And she said this is to do with like transhumanism, but this is where the consciousness is expanding multidimensional awareness, but it's through surveillance, it's through, let's say, emotional desensitization, it's disconnecting us from our organic nature. And when I was asking her about how they're doing this and the success of this, she says, well, they do this through fear, through emotional manipulations, whether this is involving, let's say, wars and us thinking that we're separate from each other. It creates a division of individuals. Of course, social media conditioning, she said, is a big one as well. And just a whole skew of like disruptions from the natural ascension by global chaotic events. So their whole goal is to keep people in a reactive state instead of having them create their own reality. So the thing is, though, she did heavily stress and want to relay a message of these false timelines. They can only continue if people feed into them. The moment that we reject them, they will collapse completely. So she said that these artificial timelines, they can't sustain themselves. They need some kind of power to feed them. So it's an illusion. So we just need to really use our discernment and be aware of where we're feeding our energies. So I just wanted to talk about her messages also when it comes to these two diverging like timelines as well, because she said humanity is currently going through again that split, and it comes between organic consciousness and AI integration. And this is really part of the greater restructuring of the planetary evolution. So she was talking about how we are really on this trajectory of integrating AI-based control structures that we're going to be accepting. This is, again, to do with, let's say, digital systems, neural integrations, external control over thoughts, emotions, actions. And she said a lot of people will wake up and reject the artificial control, because again, this is all going back to how look at Elon Musk and all. I'm not trying to bring him into this video, but his technology advancements and the push for AI. So we're going to see a huge divide from what I understand from what she's sharing. And there's a sense of there is a group that will exit the synthetic reality and they're going to awaken. But there are going to be still a percentage of people that remain undecided, and these people could really shift into deeper states of control. They are going to pretty much become zombies, walking zombies, and I feel like the percentage of the population may be like 10-15% that will, what she was sharing with me, that will let's say kind of just shift towards this sense of becoming really heavily programmed from these artificial, unnatural technologies such as brain chips and that sort of thing. They're pretty much becoming a human robot. So she was talking about that both of these groups will coexist for some times, but there is going to become a time where it is increasingly separating. Okay. So again, there's the AI controlled population, and then there's the awakened population as well. That's going to function differently in the field of intelligence, accessing reality through frequency rather than technology, is what she was sharing. So the choice, she said, is being made now. Every action, all these belief systems, these alignments every day creates these trajectories and probabilities. So that was pretty interesting. Interesting that I wanted to share with you there. So again, kind of to recap that, what she was saying with these two timelines is there is one group of let's say individuals that are going to integrate deeper with AI-based systems, and they will eventually merge with artificial intelligence at a biological and neurological level. And then we will have another group of individuals that will reject this artificial control and move towards more of a multidimensional awareness. Okay, so again, if you guys just use your discernment as well, but a lot of you guys that are here watching these types of videos, you guys are on this journey of a deeper knowing and deeper knowledge. So a lot of these that are kind of leaning more into these AI based systems are still very heavily they don't realize that they have the power to change their path. They think that everything's just happening to them. So that was kind of her projected split that was coming up. But she said again, like, this is something that is not fixed. There are shifts that are based off of collective decisions, but this is just a current probability field that shows as a dominant trajectory from what she's observing at this time. So you guys, that's kind of a bit of an overview of what I wanted to share in terms of some of her messages with the timelines. Now, she also did talk about the reason why there's such a big turning point as well. As she said, more the planetary frequency is rising, and a lot of these groups that have been trying to, let's say, hijack certain timelines or, you know, interject and kind of push a fear-based system out, like a non-organic reality, let's say. They're not able to operate as easy anymore because of the higher vibrational states, and more humans are waking up. So once we are aware, their manipulation loses power. So she said that the Galactic Federation and other councils are also ensuring balance is happening and that free will is truly returning. So all these systems that, let's say she said, relied on scarcity are being exposed. And we have been talking so much, you guys, in the tarot with exposures and things that are coming out, and it's going to be tough, but all this exposures needs to happen. She does say humanity holds the key. And again, all of these forces, they can only succeed if we give them power. So please do remember that. I did want to kind of conclude and end on if she had any final, you know, messages to kind of end this, let's say, transmission for you guys. Oh, I'm going to read to you what I have down here. And this is about, her message is, humanity, you guys have forgotten who you are, but the forgetting was only temporary. The illusion was never stronger than your essence. She said, you are now awakening and nothing can stop it. So she wants us to know that we are not weak. We've never been small. We are not separate, and we do not need saving. So her message was all about the grand illusion has held you for long enough. She said, you guys were led to believe you were powerless. You were conditioned to think you must follow, obey, and conform. And your realities are fixed, that your fate is decided. But these are all false constructs. And the chains around you are made of your own belief. The moment you reject them, the moment they cease to exist. So she says, nothing controls you unless you allow it, and no system is stronger than your will. No force is greater than your awareness. So remembering who you are, stop looking outside of yourself for answers, and stop giving your power away. The moment you claim this truth is the moment you now rise. So that was her message of transmission of what she wanted to share. I wanted to thank you guys for joining me on this unique video that I was able to put together for you guys. I'm sending you so much love and light on your journey, and I'm very much looking forward to incorporating some more of her perspectives on some of these topics around the world. And now, if you guys have any questions, or if you have certain topics you want me to dig into when it comes to certain perspectives from Sara, then feel free to comment below, send me an email, and I look forward to deepening this connection and sharing messages and perspectives that come through from her. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment down below. Lots of love and light to you guys all. And until next time, bye for now.